same thing, but take me through just, you go home after the game on Saturday
Sure.
to now. What did that 24 hours or so look like for you?
After this following game.
This past Saturday, yes.
So it's a lot more fun when you win and you play really good defense, which I think we did the first 3 weeks. When you don't win and you don't play good defense to the standard that we have around here, it's a sleepless night. It probably has been for the last two. When we play really good on defense, it's all because of the players. We've got great players. They compete. They execute at a high level. When we don't perform to the standard that we have, then I blame myself. What could I have done better? What adjustments could I have made better? What things could I have simplified throughout the week so we don't have coverage busts or we don't miss assignments? So I'm very self-reflective on both phases, win or lose. But when it's not the product that we expect, I'm very self-reflective to get it fixed. And we've got the right players, we got the right coaches, and we had a practice yesterday, went really good. All the adjustments and the corrections and the first steps towards Duke were really positive.
Geoff, was there any urge after what happened because JMU was so successful on offense? Was there any urge to change something fundamental about the defensive game plan because they might have told the world how to beat it?
No, I just think there are certain things that when things started going sideways, a bunch of guys tried to do too much, and we're even compounding issues instead of just relying on fundamentals technique, play their assignment, and then we'll get the things corrected on the sidelines, because it wasn't like each play was a multiple person. It was one issue here, one issue there, and they happened to find those issues. So just getting those cleaned up and having trust in each other, and like they did for the first 3 weeks of the season, and that was the same mindset in the defensive room yesterday.
There are games where one aspect or two aspects of a unit may not be on its A game, but every aspect of the defense appeared to be on its Z game, if you will. How does that happen? And is there sort of a connection? You just said some guys were trying to do too much.
Right.
Is there a connection when one unit doesn't play well in this game, how it kind of bled into others, or was it just awful from the start?
Yeah, I don't think from the start. We had one missed assignment on the very first play, should have been a tackle for loss. The assignment wasn't executed. But after that, the next two series, or that continuation of the first series, was a good ball. And then just one of the things that we've stressed since we've been here is the put the ball down mentality. Regardless of the situation, regardless of what's happening, put the ball down and play. And just having a couple of sudden change opportunities, I don't think we responded the right way. And then when I've got to do a better job whenever the guys' controllers start rattling, being able to give them a simple call, let them play with poise, because we've got great players, and I can't compound the issue by giving them a complicated call to execute. Simplify things, let them go play, because we have great players.
Was there a leak in the dam that led to the thing just kind of imploding that you can, point your finger at and say, okay, if that doesn't occur, maybe all this other stuff doesn't happen?
Yeah, I think whenever you have an explosive play, and one of the biggest pieces was communication from sideline to the field, and then on the field, the communication has to improve. We stressed that a great deal yesterday. I thought it had been pretty good for 3 weeks. Then it just kind of wasn't to what we expect. And the guys are committed to getting it fixed, and we'll get it fixed.
Is that how you're left, Geoff, I understand the points and the yards were astronomical, but they had guys running in open space
Sure.
all over the place.
Yep. Yep.
Those are the breakdowns that need to just be in that
Absolutely.
open communication?
Absolutely.
It looked like some guys were all bunched up together in the same spot sometimes.
Yep, so some of the things, when there's certain rotations that have to happen, somebody's got to rotate down, somebody's going to rotate back. We had 2 times that didn't happen. So it's just making sure that, a side of the defense has to communicate. That's how it works. But the cross communication has to be that way as well. And, we've got smart kids that really care. And, in that kind of environment, when you make those mistakes, especially on the back end, it gets compounded because everybody sees it.
Right.
You have a mistake or a misfit up front, there's 2 more levels of the defense that can fix it. But if you have a miscommunication on the back end and they find it, it's going to be an explosive, and we had way too many of them.
What was the conversation like with Coach Brown after the game or on Sunday, because I'm sure that had to be kind of a tough
Oh yeah,
talk to have.
absolutely. When everything's 72 and sunny, it's easy conversations and happy, and but when there's things to get fixed, I mean, it's, you know, trust and honesty and all those kind of things, and out of respect, what he's saying or what we're watching is facts. So we've got to address it, and we've got to fix it, and we're grown men that can handle it.
With the communication issues, especially in the back, one of the things you've talked about a lot, Mac, is how much experience you have
Sure.
back there. That's a lot of miscommunication for a group so experienced. Is that most disappointing about what you saw Saturday?
I think so. I think, and just the communication piece of it, you know, one side seeing one thing, the other side seeing another thing. We've got to work together. And, you know, I thought they came out yesterday, responded, and they understand it, and there wasn't finger pointing. It was, we have to get this corrected, and committed to doing it.
Mac talked about just how tough he takes losses.
Sure.
One, did you see that out of him after the game? And then two, how do you take losses? I mean, it feels like, you know, we talk about how players take it, but you have to kind of live with it and stew with it for a whole week.
Yeah, and you know, you would love to have a 24-hour rule and everything's, you know, gone, but then Jeremy has me come up here and talk to y'all well past 24 hours. So reliving it, you know, publicly, you know, does sting, but just, you know, I don't sleep a lot. I don't sleep a lot, period. But just being reflective and, you know, figuring out the best way to get it fixed and connecting with the guys. And I think the relationships that we've been able to build over the 9 months helps the trust factor, knowing that things that are, we point out, we don't hold any shots, and we make sure everybody sees, here's what the issue was, here's why we had the 12 explosives, we can't let this happen. And we don't need to start compounding issues by trying to take up for other people's jobs. Here's where the issue was, we get this fixed, it wouldn't have been a play. Here's this play. Here was the issue. If this issue doesn't happen, there's not an explosive play. And so everybody can kind of settle in, like, okay, that was the issue, and we move on, we got it fixed.
Yeah, it seems like your defensive line played very well the first 3 games.
Sure.
JMU's offensive line is a pretty experienced group.
Right.
Seems like they did a better job against you than you guys did against him in terms of the run blocking and giving Barnett time to throw.
Sure, and I think a lot of that too is, again, I want to be very self-critical. I don't know that I always had them in the best spot for success. And so I want to be very, you know, self-aware. How can I put them in the best position so they can have success? They had success the first 3 games. Again, I'm not going to take credit for that. They played really well. But when we don't play well, I want to make sure that's on me, and we can put them in a better position to have success.
Well, what should they have done differently? You talking about putting them in different positions?
Yeah, I don't want to get into all of that because there's other people that listen to these press conferences, but just know that there are different things that we do, and I can help them too. Because I thought the first 3 games, I thought we played very, very fast, and I thought we played very, very free, and just making sure that the things that we are asking them to do allow them to play fast and to play free and not have to think too much.
We saw Kanan during the game, the JMU game, sort of trying to rally the troops on the
Sure.
sideline down there. You know, as you got back together on Sunday, and you know,
Yep.
was there any sort of that like come to Jesus type meetings from the guys?
So here's the thing I was very impressed with. So during the game, I'm standing there and I'm talking to them. I'm taking the blame, and they weren't letting me. And I you know, a lot of times, at places that I've been, I would jump in front of it and say, "It's all me. I got to get it fixed. It's all me." And sometimes they let you do that, right? Because it's easier that way. These guys are amazing. They're like, "Coach, this ain't on you. This is all of us. We'll get it fixed. This is one game. This will never happen again." And they were texting me through the night and just been like, "Coach, we got this. Come back to work." All those kind of things. We believe in everything. Let's ride. I don't need the pep talk. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me, but I don't need it. My job is to help them play as good as they can be, and they can be really, really good.
Yeah, so in terms of the morale, after giving up 70 points and 600
Yep.
yards, it's not a hang your head type situation.
Right, they
for
were,
your guys.
they were also on the sidelines. They were hurt. They didn't feel great about the product that we put on the field. But they were forward thinking, how can we get this better? We will get this better. This is not going to happen again.
Geoff, what lessons do you feel the guys mostly learned playing Barnett, who probably to this point the most, I guess, athletic guy
Sure.
who probably played,
Sure.
and, you know, the production that he had. What do you feel that the guys learned having seen a guy like that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I think one of the biggest things is just keeping him contained, right? Because we let that happen a couple times and let it extend plays, and he was able to find some of the guys. So just make sure we contain athletic quarterbacks or all quarterbacks in general, and just protecting everything top down has to be done.
How have you seen Duke's offense evolve? You know, from those first couple games, it looked like they were in RPOs all the time.
Sure.
Malik was making those decisions, you know, sort of on the fly. It looks like they're getting a little more advanced.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is what the defense was giving them. You know, and I think he does a great job, and the scheme is designed for them to take easy access throws, know where to go with the football, what the windows are, and I think he's done a good job managing the offense and having it be as explosive as it's been. And I think the receivers are really good, really, really good.
What does not having,
Go ahead. No,
I was going to say, what does not having Kamen meant on the field? I mean, obviously we saw him trying to rally people, but
Sure.
it would have been nice to have him out there front.
Yeah, Kane's a great player, and whenever he's healthy, we're excited for him to be back. You know, I think, you know, the guys have done a really good job in his stead, and we just gotta, you know, keep playing and keep fighting and all those kind of things until he gets back, and hopefully he gives us a spark. But you know, we still gotta play great defense.
Another one of those just leaders of the defense has been Power.
Yep.
What do you see from him on Saturday?
I think the steadiness, the passion, the maturity, the character, you know, because I've been in very few of these games, but I've been in a few of them. And when things spiral, the whole sideline implodes and it gets really bad. That never happened on Saturday. As bad as it was and as bad as we were playing, it didn't spiral out of control off the field, on the sideline, in the locker room, which can happen. And you know, I just think that's the maturity and the leadership, really from the collective. And Power is one of the, you know, main ones, if not the main one, that has poise, high character, high care factor, all those kind of things. And they were able to know what was happening in the moment, know that it was bad, not make it worse.
Did you have one, Ted? Okay.
You get over what I was going. I was going to ask about the overall effort throughout the game.
Sure.
I mean, you're fresh here. We've seen that kind of performance
Sure.
in the past, and
Right.
from some of these same players.
Sure.
And I wanted to know, did you sense any of that going on? That you kind of.
So I didn't. Now the thing that, and I've addressed it with them, and I don't mind saying it here, is just, let's not make things worse. Like, let us get things corrected. Let's not start jumping in and out of gaps and jumping in and out of coverages. Let's just play the structure of the defense, play clean, run to the football, those kind of things. I don't know, in the second quarter, the late first quarter, that part was a little bit, you know, we were trying to do too much. I thought at halftime and moving on, I still think they had a couple of explosives later in the game, but it wasn't there was a 7-play run that was like 6 explosives out of 7. That cannot happen, you know, and that probably compounded from the lack of communication, but also some of the guys pressing and stressing and trying to do too much.
Geoff, you're trying to substitute more, and you get Ty Adams in there and gets burned.
I hate it for him, and I hate it for him because it was the one time that they drawed us off sides.
Right.
They did the hard count, they drawed us off sides. He reacted to it, which as a young player, or as any player, you shouldn't do that. But as a young player, finally getting a chance to get some burn, and somebody false starts and you just relax, and he relaxed at the wrong moment, and he had a touchdown thrown on it. And I hate it for him because he's had a 3-week run of practicing at a high level. He earned that early playing time. I hate that it happened to him. You know, it's one of those things too. As a coach, we all can see on the back end when something bad happens. And everybody can look out there and see who the jersey number is that's closest to it. And I hate it for those kids to have to go through that. We'll get it fixed. But those are young men that really care and love this place and want to do well on that stage. And when something bad happens to them, it kills you inside as a coach, because you don't want them to go through it. You don't want it to happen because you want to play good, you want to win. But those are young men that are just awesome. And they work their tails off to go out there and perform. And when something bad happens, I just hate it for any of them.
I appreciate your comments.
Sure.
What I was gonna ask you was, I mean, that was obviously a glaring thing with him.
Sure.
Had the LaValle situation in Minnesota, he goes in, 3rd and 19.
Yep.
Like, I mean, do situations like these, can they make you more gun shy in terms of getting more guys in there when
Right.
you substitute and something bad happens?
We don't want that to happen. And especially because I think Duke's offense plays with a lot of tempo. So we've got to be ready to roll guys, in there, and just the trust factor and getting them burned. And a lot of those guys are playing a lot of time on special teams. And they're playing really good on special teams. And that builds trust equity as well. I mean, I don't know if y'all have been watching Michael Short and Caleb LaValle play special teams. It's must-see TV, the way they're playing special teams. And I think those kind of experiences, just getting out there on the grass and playing on all phases, gives you more confidence to put them in on defense. So, we're committed to it, and we've just got to keep getting them chances to get out there and perform. And the special teams is helping that.
You talk about green dots, yellow dots, red dots all the time. What were your green dots?
Good question.
Very good question. I don't think I showed any. Not that there weren't some. There were some really good performances individually. I thought Kevin Hester had a great day. I thought Amari Campbell played really, really well. And there were some other guys, but those two kind of stand out in the front 7. But the biggest thing, we don't want to go in there and it be sunshine and rainbows after having a bad performance. So we want to address the issue out of love and respect. We're all in this thing together. Let's watch it. Watch as your position groups, and let's get it corrected and move on. So that was the main. It was the explosive plays that were all correctable deals, and we just got to get them corrected.
Geoff, you're a high energy, enthusiastic dude. Will you take a moment to ring the victory bell this week? Because guys love to ring it around here during Duke week. I don't know if you've heard it yet, but
Gotcha.
I mean, sometimes Kevin Donnelly gets on that thing and goes off like,
For a long time.
yeah, right.
Love
Are
it.
you gonna get a victory bell, clang that thing this week? Do you think?
He's trying to get a quote.
I'm just trying to end on a good.
I'm with you. I'm
That's
just,
the fun on it.
yeah. I just want to play great defense and pour into these kids and go out there and play really well.
Just to be clear, you have left this building since the game ended Saturday.
I have. Even though I'm the same outfit that I usually always wear, I just wear the same outfit all week, and then I get dressed for practice and put it back on and then wash it and keep it moving.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.